Hey everybody, welcome back to another Americano Reacts. We're going to do another tier list today. Kennedy Hawk did a hero best aspects tier list. I haven't watched it, so we'll see what he is talking about.
Hey everybody, this is Kennedy Hawk from the MCM team. For today's tier list Tuesday number 4, we're going to be looking at each hero and the aspect I think they pair best with. So we're going to be thinking
Okay.
about strength of the deck of that hero when paired with that aspect, the thematics of that aspect, and the fun level
I
of the
like how you
best
always
decks I've seen with
give
those pairings.
your like
So
qualifications
here
first
we go.
because it
We have
lets everybody
our
know what
tier
they should
maker tier
expect.
list all ready to go, and we are going to be putting
This
at
this is a little bit of
heroes
a
into
cheat
the just
because this
with
isn't
S
really a tier
tier,
list.
justice,
This is a
aggression tier, the B tier, the
this is just
protection tier, or
categories.
the leadership tier. Uh,
This
yeah, I
is
know, I'm super funny. The B tier is there for heroes that I cannot decide what their best
like Adam
aspect is.
Warlock.
Or, let's knock one
They
off
don't
right
have one.
off the bat. People like Adam Warlock, who actually use all 4 aspects, because we don't have to make a decision about them. But
Yep.
let's get things underway and start looking at characters within their best
Sorry,
aspect.
Adam.
So Spider-Man is a really good character in all 4 aspects. I think he really likes justice and aggression because they shore up weaknesses for him. But I think his best 2 decks, his most fun decks, are in leadership and protection. And I'm going to go with protection because I think Spidey thematically
Okay.
protects his turf and his friends and his family. I think he's a really good protection character,
He could do a lot of protecting.
synergy-wise, and I think it can be just a non-stop fun deck to play in multiplayer when you're defending for 3 to 4 characters a turn, which is amazing. So Spidey, best aspect in my opinion right now
Draw
with
a lot of
all
cards.
the cards
No,
released
you
through
don't.
Mad Titan's Shadow and Nebula, protection. All right, let's keep going through with the core set. And for Iron Man, I'm going to go ahead and be a little bit weird here.
I'd
I
say
think Iron Man
don't say
is best
leadership.
with leadership.
Oh,
I think that having allies that can thwart for him, cheap allies that can thwart for him while he's flipped down, while he builds his suit, is really, really powerful. There's a lot of tech upgrades within leadership that can help you accelerate your game plan a little bit. And
now there
all in
are.
all, it's
That's
just a
true.
really good aspect for him.
You can't put
Synergy-wise, once
everybody
he's
on
up and
leadership
running, it's
though.
not as big of a deal, but it can get a lot of cards out of your deck, so you can thin things for Repulsor Blast and stuff like that. So I'm going to go Iron Man leadership. All right. Who
Boo.
else is from the Marvel Champions core set? We've got She-Hulk, Black Panther, and Captain Marvel here. Captain Marvel, we're going to put with Justice. I think Captain Marvel, Justice, Leadership, Protection, and Aggression are all really, really strong decks. But I think the quality of
She always
energy,
gets
resource
shafted though.
cards,
She's
and
never
Justice
like
puts her up top there.
she's really strong, but
That's a
she
little bit
never
of
is like
ancient
up to
thinking.
S tier,
Back when we had
regardless
only
of the
had
deck.
2 or 3 packs out, you kind of really had to know like which packs had the best cards for which type. And Justice's like inherent type is mental, right? Not energy, but some of the energy cards in Justice are just bonkers good. She's got
Yeah,
2 thwart, so she can synergize with it
she has two
well.
thwart. She doesn't really have any
And her
thwarting
thwart
events that
card
are.
isn't the greatest in the world,
Yep.
so I mean it's not a bad card by any means, but it's not an outstanding card. So this kind of helps shore up a little bit of weakness, which I think is
I
good.
agree with that actually.
And Captain Marvel has a reason to flip, so I'm really happy with
Not
Captain
my
Marvel
favorite deck
in
to play
Justice.
though. Captain
All
Marvel
right,
Justice. I'd rather play leadership with
well, we
her,
got to put somebody in
honestly.
aggression. I'm going to go ahead and put She-Hulk in aggression. I think
Interesting.
She-Hulk aggression can be a really
She
fun
can swing for a lot.
rush deck.
Mm-hmm.
And in the current meta, both Mad Titan Shadow and Galaxy's Most Wanted rush decks are very, very successful, especially with the high threat thresholds we have in
Fair.
Mad Titan Shadow. She-Hulk aggression can just go bonkers crazy and burn through things really, really fast, especially in standard mode. Bug and Energy Spear added a lot to She-Hulk, even though it doesn't seem like it did. Just once you can get those 2 down, and they're pretty cheap to get down, all of a sudden you can be swinging for 6 a turn
Always.
without even
You're
doing
always pushing
anything,
bug and
and
energy
then you play out
spear.
the rest of your hand. And when She-Hulk gets into that mode, she is just crazy. All right, I would almost put Justice there because I think it shores up her weakness, and thematically it
I mean, it
works
kind
really
of
well.
depends
But I think
if you're
both
playing
aggression
first,
and
like one
Justice
single
work
player
thematically well for
or with
She-Hulk.
more than one player. But
All right,
if you're just going overall,
who have we left off
she
here?
can do a
Black
lot
Panther.
of
Black
damage
Panther is going to
for an
be our
aggression.
protection friend. There are too many good 2-cost cards in protection Black Panther's kit is very self-sufficient in its own. Once you get the armor piece out you want, you can
Yep.
thwart, you can
That
heal, you can deal damage, you can deal AoE.
pincushion or
The one thing you
or
can't do
like
with his kit is
cactus
defend.
Black Panther
That inherent healing in Hero really makes
is
him
a fun
powerful in
build.
protection, but also his retaliate, his ability to summon upgrades with Shuri like Energy Barrier
You
just
know,
puts him
I think with
that
Black
much
Panther the
further on top. I
most
would almost say leadership for him. He's also been a leader of the comics, but we're going to call him the protector of Wakanda and put Black Panther in protection.
the most victories I've
All
had
right,
during the
where
villain
did I go
phase are
next in
with
my notes?
Black Panther
It looks like I
protection.
skipped all over, and I jumped to the box characters first. So we're going to go ahead and throw Hawkeye in aggression. I think Hawkeye is really good in
Surprisingly,
aggression,
he
justice,
can
and
do a
leadership.
lot of damage.
Lacks a little bit in protection. Definitely wouldn't put him there if I could choose. But in aggression, he's just nonstop. He's definitely a
Um,
role player. He's a minion handler. He is a villain to the facer. But when he is set up and rocking and rolling in aggression, he's doing 12 to 13 a turn and not getting in anyone's way. And that's an optimal Hawkeye to me. Spider Woman. All right, I am going to put Spider Woman in Justice. The reason I do that is I
dare anything
think
with Justice?
all the Spider Woman decks I've been running recently have some half of it obviously is justice, and the reason for that is a lot of leadership cards are a little bit too expensive to synergize with
Yeah,
Jessica's
she wants some.
hero ability.
She
At
wants a
the same
lot of
time,
cheap
protection
ones for
cards,
her
since a lot of them
hero
are
ability.
played during the villain phase, you don't get as much use out of that stat bonus. So it was down to aggression and justice, and I think clear the area and justice just sets Spider-Woman tiny bit ahead. And now that we have one way or another as well,
What
we've
she's
got
gonna
some
say?
real cheap justice cards that add to card draw that really let you roll through Spider-Woman's deck in a powerful way. So we've got our two ally pairs up there, Captain Marvel and Spider-Woman, hanging out in justice. All right, we're going to go with Groot next, and I think Groot is another character that really thrives in Justice.
He likes
I
to
think he
flip.
can do a lot of defending and limit how much threat is on the main scheme, and he can use Justice just to do a little bit of threat control. He's got enough damage within his kit, and he really wants to flip, which Justice is kind of mandatory for. Thematically, I think Groot works in everything except leadership, and even then, I would say he's leading the charge into battle. But mechanically
Yeah,
wise,
but
I think Groot
surprisingly,
really
Groot
needs
leadership's very
that
fun to play.
flip
Maybe not the
allowance
best
that
deck, I
Justice
agree
gives
with
you.
you, but a lot of fun actually.
Onto Rocket. I have Rocket as aggression, so he's one
He
of the
wants
first heroes
he wants the
we're
minion
pairing with
killers.
the aspect they came with. I guess Spider-Woman as well.
Wasn't
Um,
She-Hulk
I have rocket
aggression as well?
aggression. You want that overkill. You want those relentless assaults and those hand cannons. They're what makes rocket function. You don't need to flip with rocket when you're playing aggression because you're murdering things off the board before they become a problem. I think he can work really well in leadership and justice as well, less so in protection. But I think aggression is where he just up and away steals the show. All right, our last box character, Spectrum.
Ooh, okay.
I am not going to put her in leadership because I don't think she does anything in leadership particularly well.
We'll put her in B
She doesn't
tier.
do anything poor. When you combine two really good
Oh,
things, you usually get a
oh
really good thing out. Um, I'm going to go
no.
ahead and put her in Justice. I think the ability of starting at 3 thwart in hero form without having to do anything is pretty amazing. On top of that, Justice's big problem is it can't defend well, it can't deal damage well, and Spectrum can do all three while
Then
still
she's able
excelling
to change
within
her.
Justice, which is something I don't think any other character can truly
She
do.
doesn't have that.
So I think Spectrum ends up in
She's
Justice.
not locked in her
All right,
form, her energy
back to
form. Then,
release order, because
if
why
she's doing
not?
that,
I'm going to put Captain America in leadership. Captain America is almost someone that goes in B tier, where like I just can't
I would actually
decide.
put him in B tier
And you know
because
what? We're
he's.
going to save him. We're going to put him in B tier.
Yeah.
You know what?
Okay.
I'm changing it.
Okay.
My notes, I'm scribbling them out right now.
Leadership, he's really good, but
Um,
it's hard to put. He's
Captain America has a build that is fun, thematic, and pretty much perfect in every aspect. He's got advantages to all these aspects in his kit. He doesn't have any strong weaknesses that an aspect has to make up for between shield block and between heroic strike and between um,
fearless
fearless
determination.
determination.
Hmm.
I think that's the name of the card.
Yeah.
And his ally reduction. He works with everything. And all characters work with everything. Let's be real here. But I'm trying
No,
to think of what they're the best
he
at,
is the epitome
and I
of
can't pick an aspect that Captain America is better at
someone
than
that
someone
should
else.
have
So
been
if you have a strong
a
opinion about
jack of
that,
all
put it in the comments
trades,
below. Link your deck list. I
master
want to
of
try it out
none, but he's
so
a
that I
jack
can
of all trades, and
understand
he
why
can
Captain
master
America
them
is
all.
best in the
So
aspect you're telling me he is. All right,
yeah,
Kamala.
B tier
Kamala
is
is going to be
his.
best in Justice. The crazy shenanigans you can do in Justice Kamala Khan at this point, Miss Marvel, is frankly magnificent. It's
She bursts a
next
lot.
to none. Very few people can do what Kamala can do with her event bouncing, and Justice has some of the most potent events. It's got damage and thwarting events at this point.
I'm really
It's
excited
even
to
got
get some
card
more
summoning and side scheme summoning events.
champions
Kamala Justice
heroes,
is,
um,
by and large,
so we can
her
get
top
some
tier deck.
tribal champion stuff to help
All
jive
right,
with her,
Thor. Where do
because
you
that
think
would
he's
just
going to
make
go?
her
Right there in
skyrocket up.
aggression. I think Thor has fun decks in all the aspects, but I think it's fairly obvious to everyone that
Kind of like Rocket.
the minion handling guy
Yeah.
wants to be in aggression, and Thor is no exception. He wants those extra minion summons. He wants the extra excess damage and all those kickers that deal with excess damage. This is just, it's where he belongs. All right, Black Widow is going to go in protection. I think Black Widow's best deck is honestly in protection, especially for multiplayer. You can set something up just like Spider-Man, where you block for multiple people a turn and
Yeah, she
control
does need
several
her
other things in the villain phase,
her
whether
suit,
it's
her what is it, synth
blowing up
suit?
minions as they come out, or stunning minions as they come out,
But
or
with that
dealing with
build,
all
she's
sorts of
very,
other
very
things.
good.
Um, she has a pretty low health pool for a protection player, but she can get to a really high protection stat, which I think makes up for it.
Yeah, but you use your uh,
Moving
use it
on,
as a resource for
Doctor
life.
Strange. I'm going to put him in leadership. I think not much beats that getting 3 allies out turn 1 and giving them all tough. And he needs to be in leadership. He's great at everything. Nothing is going to hold Doctor Strange back, but leadership is going to push him to the next level.
Yeah, especially
Hulk,
those strength in
another
numbers.
character
Not
that
the
I
one that
think
lets you
really needs
ready
leadership or justice
or draw
to
cards. Yeah,
survive. I mean, you can play aggression and protection Hulk decks all day. You'd think that that would be natural with his 3 attack and 3 defense, but they just don't do enough to shore up his weakness of not
I
being
don't
able
know
to
about
thwart,
the theme
especially in
of this
solo, but
though.
even in multiplayer. You're just
Theme
tanking it
is
for the
weak,
team. So I really think
but I agree with you.
Hulk
It
with
makes it
leadership and strength
stronger.
in numbers is the optimal way to play Hulk right now. I hope we get to the point where it's not, but in expert mode, in multiplayer, and in
We
solo,
will
I
get
think
to the
Hulk
point where
leadership and
it's
Hulk
not
justice are the number
with
2
the
and
growing
number
card
1
pool.
decks for Hulk. And right now, I've been playing a lot of Hulk leadership. All right, we are
You
into
just
the
outed
Ant-Man wave.
yourself.
Ant-Man
People aren't going to
is going to
trust
go
you
in
now.
aggression. It's a toss-up for me between aggression and justice with him. I think he's got good combinations in both. I don't think he needs the healing for protection, and I don't think he has anything in particular that synergizes with leadership beyond having a signature ally. So there's no reason to put him there, even though that was like his precon kit. I think he is great in aggression, and he can really handle the
The
threat,
Scott Lang,
but
is
then
that
also let the aggression card shine.
how thematic is
Next up
that?
is Wasp.
Maybe
So I would put Wasp in aggression. The hand cannon excess
I
damage
agree
build
with
has been a
this.
lot of fun.
I agree
It
with this.
seems
I'm not
very
sure I
thematic
agree
for
with
Wasp.
Ant Man,
He
but I agree with
swinging
Wasp.
around, shooting sparks at things and blowing them up.
She can deal a lot of
But
damage.
with the emergence of one way or another, I think I'm going to put Wasp into Justice. I think
You can't.
having that card that lets you summon a side scheme, give yourself 3 cards, and then
Then
defeat
you
it
should put
is
everybody
now
in
going to
Justice.
enable Wasp's tiny form, which we did not have before. So I think that's a huge deal. We now can enable her tiny form to do the things it wants to do and still use her giant form for goodness. So Wasp, for me, is a Justice top tier hero. All right. We've got Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch left from this wave. I'm going to put Quicksilver in protection. I know Quicksilver has amazing decks in every aspect. He can basically use the stat buff of the first 3 aspects, and with leadership, he can use
Yeah,
morale boost, and he can just go
like I said
bonkers.
when we did our tier
I
list, I
would put
think
him in
he's
aggression
made to be
for
a
synergy
protection
with
hero.
Bug, but I think when you're looking for protection heroes, you want someone that gets that advantage of defending. And even though he can only get to 2 defense in his kit, having that free ready after defending is really going to give
But
you
then with
incentive to defend over and over and
the
over
vest,
again,
you can
which
get
a
it to
lot of heroes
3
don't have.
defense.
They have to be very cautious with when they use their defense. So I think that puts Quicksilver one step ahead. All right, Wanda is going to go in leadership. I think she's
Okay,
got enough threat, enough status conditions, and enough damage within her kit. And then she's got cards that let her play big fatty allies for free, and that makes Wanda a perfect leadership character.
okay. Cards that
I
make them
don't have any
plays
question in
them.
my mind that Wanda
She
leadership
can
is
play them for
probably one
free
of the
or just
strongest
one.
decks out
Is it
there.
just one?
There hasn't been a lot of people playing it, which
Chaos
is kind
Magic
of
or something?
surprising to me, so that might be something I have to further explore.
Do a video on building a Scarlet Witch
All right, and we
leadership
are into
deck.
the Guardians wave. Um, let's see here. Star-Lord is also going to go in leadership. I think that's where he
Yes.
belongs. I think his Blaze of Glory, Avenger, Guardian,
It's
Assemble deck
ridiculous.
is just too strong to ignore, and that is
Yes.
going to put him
And
in the leadership
thematically, it
category.
makes sense.
Likewise, here is Gamora, who is definitely not going to go in leadership. I'm actually going to put Gamora in protection. I think protection
I
now
need to hear
has enough
this.
attack events that it can be useful to Gamora, but you can really get the most out of her deck building ability, which lets you grab attack and thwart events from other aspects. You could say that that is even more true in leadership, but she has absolutely no synergy, basically, with leadership. So I think putting
I
her in
think she's
protection
played
is pretty
more with
good.
justice and aggression.
Um,
So
you
this is
know,
good. I'm gonna
theme,
look into building
theme.
a Gamora protection deck.
I'm a liar. I'm gonna move her to aggression. She is the deadliest woman in the universe, and the deadliest woman in the universe
So
doesn't
the
protect
theme pushed
things.
you
It
over.
shoots guns and swords at things. So she belongs in
I'm
aggression.
still gonna
I
build a
think
protection
justice,
one.
aggression, and protection you can't go wrong with Gamora,
Yeah.
but for theme, we're gonna pump her up to the red.
Okay.
All right, on to Drax. So I really think Drax belongs in protection, just like his
You're
precon
gonna move him,
says.
aren't you?
And I'm being very boring in the Guardians wave. Everyone has been in their aspect so far, so how lovely. Um, I think you want to be able to face tank those couple hits. I would almost put him in leadership because I think he has a really interesting leadership build where to start the game he defends for his allies and he builds them all up, and then he lets his allies go
No, that's
and
not
starts
thematic.
blocking with
And
them once he's in his final form with his like
I mean that's
super
pretty
huge
strong,
attack.
but
But I
using
think
allies is a
protection or
cheat code.
aggression are really the ways to go with him to optimize his high attack and his countering abilities. And then on to Venom. Um,
I think it's protection, but
so
I'm
Venom's a little
biased.
weird. You'd think you would choose something that has a lot of weapons because Venom has all the abilities to use these weapons over and
I
over
don't like to
again.
put weapons in
One of
there.
my biggest complaints about Venom is that
Just
he
use his three
has 3
weapons.
restricted slots, which is great, but then he has 3 restricted items within his 15 cards. So it really doesn't change your deck building like what restricted items I can get out. There's a leadership weapon that's not restricted, so maybe that does. Ultimately, I think he's really good in protection. I think Grasping Tendrils is like a cheaper form of Webbed Up. It does basically what we want it to
And
do,
he has that wild
and
resource
it just
on
makes him like a
on a
really
stick
good
that
multiplayer protection character. He is the lethal protector. He will stop
he
whatever is
doesn't
coming
have
at your
any
face
status
and
though.
probably turn it on its head.
That's okay because he
And
can
we're on to
defend for a lot.
Nebula. I really think Nebula belongs in aggression. I think
Interesting.
this is because Nebula can do a lot of damage, but her damage is very variable. And if you end up not drawing into your damage at the right time, it can really set you back with Nebula. You can end up with a ton of minions out, and I think adding some aggression events to take care of minions or to like push you a little bit to hit the villain can really push Nebula to the next level.
It definitely makes it so
Um,
your game isn't super
and there you
long.
have it. I'm leaving Captain America in B tier. I'm not gonna Cap is Cap, and he is an all-arounder, and he is exactly where he
You
belongs
know
for
what?
today.
Good list. It's not a
Maybe
tier
we'll get some
list,
cards that will push
Kennedy
Captain
Hawk.
in a certain direction in the
We'll
future, but for now, this is what I have for each
we'll
hero
let it
paired
slide
with their
because you're doing lots
best
of
or most
videos.
important aspect, both strength, theme, and fun. So,
But
hope you enjoy this Tier List Tuesday. We will be
I
back
did.
tomorrow for a Workout Wednesday with another gameplay video.
I
Thanks.
did enjoy it, and I agree with you for the most part. There are some things I disagree, but you know what? It's your list. You can have opinions, even though they might be. I won't say they're wrong. Even though I disagree, because people will disagree with me. Cool list, not a tier list. Um, anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Americano reaction video, and we'll see you next time.